Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing well. Today I'm here with a new tutorial and it is on this look right here. I wanted to come up with something with a tangerine, like a bright shade, but yet I wanted it to be muted in a way and soft and just pretty. That, you know, description of just something that is pretty. And I love these tones. I love warm colors. We're getting into the fall, so I'm feeling the warm eye looks already. It's gonna happen. Prepare yourself. But if you want to see how I created this look, then keep on watching. So today's look is actually inspired by someone that posted this eye look on Instagram, and it's supposed to be part of the Tangerine series. And I'm assuming, yes, it's from Deet Shawl. It's a Denmark account. And if you look at this account, they're absolutely stunning. Like, let's just take a moment here to appreciate this artwork. But the one that kind of spoke to me was this one. I'm not going to do this look at all. I just loved the orange, so I went through my collection and I picked out some affordable orange eye products and powder products, because you can use, you know, a blush on your eyes, that kind of thing. First and foremost, I pulled out my Milani Everyday Eyeshadow collection. This is in Earthy Tones, or I'm sorry, Earthy Elements number 5. I've had this for a while. This came out like a year or two ago, I think. Obviously, I pulled this palette out because of this orange shade. It's more of like a rust color, and then there's some transition shades I can also use. I grabbed a face palette from e.l.f, trying to keep things affordable, and in my collection I don't have a whole lot of those shades for affordable eyeshadow, so I actually grabbed my e.l.f Total Face palette because I figure I can use these light little peachy blushes for a blending transition kind of thing to tie it all together. And then the most recent palette in my collection is from Sonia Kashuk. It's the Pretty Cheeky Face palette. I mean, the packaging, this was limited edition, so I do apologize. But again, you're going through your collection, you're finding something that's orange, tangerine, those kinds of things. And this blush, I don't know if it's coming off on camera, but it's such a gorgeous warm tangerine shade. So I thought, you know, I can even use this contour shade for transition, things like that. So I have a bunch of orange things around me. And first thing I want to, obviously I'm going to do the eyes first, but I do want to prime my skin beforehand so that way it can sink in and just be prepped for when we're about to do our foundation. So first thing is the Tarte Hangover Primer. I'm going to put a little bit of this all over the skin. I've actually already put a lip treatment on. I use the Laneige lip sleeping mask. I don't even use this just for at night. I use it before I put my makeup on as well. Okay, so I have my Hangover on there. I do want to use my e.l.f. Beauty Shield Antioxidant Enriched Skin Protection. This is an SPF, and it also is a tint, and you can use it as a primer. But actually, I use this all on its own on everyday occasions, but I'm going to use it today as a primer, because I also want some SPF if I go out. And as you can see, it looks like it's a foundation. You actually get a decent amount of coverage. I'm gonna put this on with my fingers and just kind of blend and work that into the skin. Okay, so that is blended into the skin. And as you can see, I got a little bit of coverage, but this universal tint thought behind it, it's not going to work for everybody, obviously. So it's kind of disappointing. Too bad that they didn't actually pull out a couple different shades that will work for everybody, or just not even put a tint in it, actually allow it to be a true primer. Anywho, let's move on to the next thing, using MAC Paint Pot in Painterly to prime these eyelids. Okay, so I do want to set that so everything will blend well. So I'm actually grabbing just a face powder because there isn't anything so light within the options I pulled out of my collection. I actually like using just a white eyeshadow to have a base for my rest of my powder eyeshadows. So I'll just use this face powder. It's the Covergirl Advanced Radiance in the shade 110 Creamy Natural. First thing I want to do before I go in with that really tangerine shade, that bright shade, I do want to use one of these blushes. Maybe this shade because it's probably a little warmer in the palette, and there's no names on this. It's just a quad. So I'm going to grab this tapered blending brush and I'm going to pick up a good amount. And actually, I'm going to use the mirror because this mirror is actually quite good. As you can see, I've built up a little bit of color. And this is just going to allow that tangerine to kind of look a little bit more diffused than if I went right in with that brighter color. And I'm actually going to take it out a little bit when I do the color. If you notice my placement, it's a little bit higher than I would put the crease shade. Now we've worked a nice light color there, a little bit higher than the crease. Now let's go in with a tangerine shade. So I'm actually going to grab the Cheeky palette from Sonia Kashuk and I'm going to use this shade first. And I'm concentrating the product on the very tip because I don't want it to go too far. So we're actually going to keep the brush high and just bring that right into the crease. Again, because this is blush, it's not going to be so pigmented like an eyeshadow, so you will have to build it up. If you have an orange eyeshadow, go for it. I do have a Morphe one in my collection, but I was trying to use different things, so I didn't grab that. One thing I recommend when doing eye looks or any makeup look, have a mirror straight ahead. So I have a big mirror right here in front of me, and then I have one that I can go back to and kind of get in closer. But I also like to look far away, because if you do your makeup really close with a mirror, I don't know, you don't always get the proportions right, or you don't look back and think, oh, everything looks a certain way. But I start to take that color in the outer corner too. But I really want to keep this bare. So don't go in with the orange there. Things are looking a little washed out. When I look in the mirror, it looks a lot brighter, but then in my viewfinder, it looks a little washed out. So obviously with all these bright lights, things are changing a little bit. So keep in mind, refer to some of my pictures that I will post as well. But I'm going to go in with the Milani one, and this is going to be more of a deep rusty shade. So I'm taking a smaller detail fluffy brush. These are powdery. Again, that's why I'm doing my eyes first. And then I'm going to take that and very slowly wiggle that in and concentrate that deeper in the socket, so my eyes look a little more deep set. It's important to have varying shades of orange. So that's why I have the very light one that's on the blush palette from e.l.f, or the face palette rather. And then I have a little bit brighter of a blush from the Sonia Kashuk one. And then I have an actual eyeshadow that's going to give me more pigment, more color. That way you get so many more options for blending, especially with a shade as bright as this. You don't want to just go in full force. So I'm actually going to go ahead, grab a fluffier brush with no product on it, and just blend the top and the sides. And then I'm going to go back in with the tapered brush from, I didn't even tell you before, it's the Moda Pro from Royal and Langnickel. Royal and Langnickel? Yeah, I don't know why I just had trouble with that. And now I'm going to go back in with the e.l.f. palette, and I'm going to use, I'll mix both of them to get a softer color to bring back over top to blend. I'm actually just taking whatever's left and blending all over on the lid, back and forth, so that the edges down here are soft. I'm going to go in, there's a hair on my nose. Now I'm going to go back in with Sonia Kashuk, and just dip in a little bit and then blend a little further down. Of course, there's a weed whacker going right now. What I'm doing with this is getting the flat part before we're using the tip. I'm getting the flat part and just pressing it against my eye with the color and just kind of sweeping back and forth like that. That way we start to close the eye down a little bit, because I am going to leave this bare. I might put a little inner corner, but I want it to look completely gradient. And again, just kind of going back and forth on the flat part of the brush with very little product. There's no product on the tip, just the side. Now I want to just create a little more depth in this crease. So I'm going to go in with the brown shade, or the tan transition shade within the Milani palette. And I'm just going to tuck that right in. It's a warmer brown tan, so it will go well with this tangerine. Now we're going to stop on the eyes, and we'll do the face because I want to do the lower lash line, but I want to be able to put my concealer on and stuff like that. So I'm just going to quickly go through this. It's not the main focus of the tutorial, but let's slap on a little foundation. So Super Stay Better Skin, I've been actually enjoying. It's a tad bit too dark in the color Classic Ivory, but I make it work by blending it down my neck. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that with my Real Techniques complexion sponge, and we'll move on to the next thing. Now that we have our foundation, I'm going to go in with Tarte concealer. Putting a little bit. Seems like a lot, but that's not too much. I will use a damp sponge to blend that out. To even out the rest of the face, I am going to go in with a little concealer here, here, and there. And before anything creases under the eye, I'm going with a little bit of powder. I'll just use the CoverGirl Advanced Radiance and Creamy Natural. Just going to take that on the sponge and pat that in. Very dry under eyes, so I find that I only need the tiniest bit. And honestly, on everyday occasions, I don't actually always powder. Now we can go back in with the eyes actually. So if you see when I did the concealer, I kind of removed a little bit of that, but that's okay. What I'm going to do is just take my brush with no product and soften that edge. See, we've kind of eliminated that, but without adding any more eyeshadow. And now what I want to do is actually go in and add some of this color down on the bottom lash line. So I'm grabbing this little smudgy brush from Royal and Langnickel. And I'm going to go in with the Sonia Kashuk Tangerine shade. And I'm going to start kind of working that color into the lash line. I'm not even looking in a mirror. I'm just kind of keeping my eye up so there's no creases. And I'm just sliding the brush back and forth. And I'm not afraid to take it a little lower. We'll also blend with a different brush that's a lot fluffier. But for now, I'm just trying to get the color on. Now I'm going to go in with a fatter pencil brush. As you can see, it's not as big as this blending brush that I used. It's a little smaller. So I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. blushes, mix those two together. And then I'm going to take that and bring it down further and kind of on its side go back and forth. And then I'll go on the tip a little bit, add more color, and just blend back and forth. Now I am going to go in with the Milani one, which is a little bit deeper, and I'm going to focus that more on the outer corner. And I'm just taking a touch of it on the tip. Now with that clean blending brush that we still don't have any product on, go back and forth and just make sure it's all softened. Now let's go ahead, we'll tight line, do a little bit of that, and we'll complete the eye look. I'm going to go ahead and tight line the top with the NYX gel pencil, the Tres Jolie one in brown. Now for the bottom waterline, I do want to put something because we kind of have that fleshy tone and then the tangerine, so things just don't look together and finished, I guess. But I don't want to do something orange or um, similar in tone because things might look a little too sickly. You could actually use a pop of green like that Instagram picture had. You can use blue, you can use purple, whatever, but I'm actually going to use a copper shade. It's my favorite copper liner. It's a slide on, glide on, stay on, blah, blah, blah. The NYX Golden Bronze. It is my favorite. So I'm going to go ahead and just put that on there, and you can, I'll do one at a time so you can see the difference. So there you can see the difference. This is one of my favorite eyeliners. I use it in so many looks because it just looks gorgeous. It's like a soft brown that has that golden metallic copperness to it. It's beautiful. It's one of my favorites. Okay, so I need to finish up with some mascara. So let's go ahead with the Maybelline. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use two different ones. My eyelashes have been a little like, ugh, lately, so I have to be a little high maintenance. I'm using the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise first, and then I'm going to use a more richer black, wetter formula to kind of amp up the volume. You could do false lashes if you want, but honestly, you know, if you've been watching my channel, I don't ever use them. And the reason for that is not that I don't love them, but I just feel like the everyday person may have trouble putting them on, doesn't want to, it's just too much for them. And I think some looks just don't need them. And you know, my tutorials are not for the makeup artist out there. My tutorials are for the everyday human being that wants to play with makeup, loves it, but maybe needs a little inspiration, or, you know, just likes watching people do makeup or whatever it may be. But you have an everyday life, you're a mom, you're whatever, you have kids and you don't have time, or you don't have children, but you still, maybe you're a little bit new to the makeup application part of it and you just need a little bit of guidance. So that's who I'm here for. I don't know when we got so deep into this conversation while I'm putting on my mascara, but here we go. I absolutely love this mascara. Oh, it's so good. But if I want like more blackness, like richer color, I mean, that's pretty rich, but I think the Lash Paradise gives more of like a fluffy length and volume, where my Maybelline Lash Sensational is just a little bit more wet of a formula, different wand. I get a lot more volume than length on this one, and it just makes them look so black. So I don't mind a little clumpiness with this eye look because it's kind of like a fun color. So see, that just popped on a little bit more volume. This is my good eye. These lashes, not so much. That's going to be good enough. I'm going to go ahead and use the Paradise just for the bottom lashes. So we have some lashes on, and let's go ahead. I'm going to do these brows because Lord help me. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to use a different one today. I'm going to use the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer in blonde, and then I'm going to top it off with the brow tint from Ulta Beauty in medium. Because the eyes are so warm, I'm going to add a little bit of a warmer brown. This is in Brunette in the L'Oreal pencil, and I'm just going to kind of use that to fill in some areas because I feel like my brows are coming off a little gray. Once I do the brow tint, it will be different, but I just feel like my brows look aged, like they're graying. Okay, that's a little better. And then going in with the tint should help as well. So we need a little bit of definition in this face. I feel like this video is going to be like 12 hours long. I'm going to go in with the Temptu Shimmer Bronzer. Oh my God, I love this. I need the tiniest a bit. Even this is too much. It's a very wet formula because it's supposed to be for an air brush machine. And I just take a stipple brush and kind of disperse it in the back. And a blend. For blush, I'm going in with Makeup Geek's Bliss because it's a very pale peach. Yeah, that's perfect. Because this is a warmer look, I don't want to use something too cool, but I also don't look good in very gold highlighters. So I'm mixing. I'm grabbing the MAC Mineralize Skin Finish in Soft and Gentle and the Ofra highlighter in Rodeo Drive. Rodeo Drive would look gorgeous if it was someone with more of a medium skin tone, but for me, I'm not there. I'm very pale, so I like to mix when I'm using that one. So let's go in with Soft and Gentle. I'm gonna take this one on Cupid's bow everywhere I would highlight. Okay, now with Rodeo Drive, I'm just gonna focus it in certain areas. So right there. Ooh, I went really intense with the highlighter today. I'm feeling it. Now actually, I'm gonna grab a little detailed brush and back to Rodeo Drive, and I'm gonna use that as a little inner corner highlight. Stamp that right in there. Now let's set everything. I want to use L'Oreal Infallible setting spray. I do like this one for the drugstore. We're doing a lot of drugstore. Not everything was drugstore, but a lot of it was. For the lips, there are a couple options. One, I'm thinking a lip gloss because the eyes are kind of, you know, more matte. I just have a little bit of that highlight in the inner corner. I think you can get away with more of a metallic kind of lip gloss, really high shine. So let's grab my favorite. NYX had this mega shine lip gloss forever. Kind of got that nude metallic vibe to me. So I don't know. I love it. It's in the shade Sweetheart. Look at that. So pretty. And you know what? I think I need a little bit more color because, I don't know, I think my lips are too frosty looking, too metallic. So I'm going to take that off. I think I'm going to go in with my Maybelline Beige Babe. It's a matte lipstick. Let's see if we use this and then maybe some of that lip gloss on the center. Actually, I don't even know if I want to do a gloss. I kind of like the matte, soft, diffused look. Yeah, I think that's where I'm sticking with it. I actually don't even know if I want to put the lip gloss on top anymore. I like the softness of the lips. I think it just makes everything softer and less like, bam, she put tangerine on her eyes. Totally can put a bold lip if you want, but I'm keeping things a little soft today. I'm feeling it. So I think that's it for my look today. I love this look. I love orange eyes. I love warmth. I'm already feeling the fall coming, so you'll probably be seeing a lot more warm tones. I hope you don't mind. Let me know in the comments below any future tutorials and suggestions that you want to see. I love hearing from you. And of course, if you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. And if you are new today and have yet to subscribe, you know where that button lives. And also, don't forget to hit that little bell. That will notify you when I upload my next video. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.